Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am finally making my most anticipated movies of 2019 list. Now, since I'm a highly indecisive person, for those of you who have been watching my channel, you know how hard it is for me to make lists. I make lists every day, but specifically ranking things, that's really hard for me. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go through and talk about some movies that I'm super excited for and some movies that I'm super nervous for. The movie I am most looking forward to seeing in 2019 is Avengers Endgame. This is just not even a question. Like, I mean, take someone whose two favorite characters are Peter Parker and Tony Stark. End Infinity War on I Don't Feel So Good, and start an Endgame with a trailer that talks about Tony, how he's preparing to die. Tell me that's not gonna get me going. I need to see this movie. I'm so excited, and so is Spidey. So, where's my camera? Yeah. This is so atrocious. I'm so sorry. This is not off to a good start. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Another movie that I'm super excited for in 2019, and that is, unsurprisingly, Spider-Man Far From Home. So it's really weird because part of me is like not excited for this movie at all, and another part of me is super excited for this movie. It all depends on what happens in Endgame, I think. Like, I'm so terrified. Obviously, Spider-Man's gonna come out alive because he has a movie. But yeah, I want them to handle it well, you know? I want the aftermath to be done correctly, and I'm super nervous that it won't be. But I'm very excited for Jake Gyllenhaal and, you know, some other developments that have been happening with that movie, and that's really exciting. So, yeah. Another movie I am super excited for, and this might throw some of you off a bit, but Rocket Man. I'm so excited for the Elton John biopic, Rocket Man. It's kind of like a fantasy biopic. It's not 100, obviously, it's not very accurate, but it's gonna be just, I love Elton John so much, and I love Taron Egerton, and I just like, I love Bohemian Rhapsody so much that now I'm just really feeling like musical biopic things, and I'm like really in the mood for that right now. So I'm super excited to see what they're gonna do with that movie. I think the trailers look awesome, and yeah, so that's a big one I'm looking forward to. Another one, goes without saying, is Captain Marvel. I've gotten to a point, I've actually stopped watching trailers and featurettes and everything that has to do with Captain Marvel because all of the haters that happen to troll everywhere and their comments about Brie Larson not being good enough, not being beautiful enough to be Captain Marvel, it's really just like I'm starting to associate that negative energy with Captain Marvel as a whole, and so I'm just trying to shut it out completely until the movie comes out. So that's sad that that has to happen, but it's happening. Another movie, and I'm not sure how many of you heard of this, but it was actually filmed like pretty close. It was filmed within an hour of my house, and it's Little Women. Super excited about this movie. It has Timothée Chalamet, Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson. I'm literally blanking on everyone that's in it. There's so many amazing the whole cast is so amazing. And it's directed by Greta Gerwig, who did Lady Bird, and I loved that movie, and I'm so excited to see this this third go around for Little Women. I'm just really excited. I think it's gonna be like just a great mix of people, and that always excites me. So yes. Another movie that I'm super excited for is Detective Pikachu. The reason why I'm so excited for that movie is because that movie was not on my radar at all until that trailer came out. So now I'm super excited. I think it's going to be such a fun movie to watch. And on that same note, Shazam. That's another movie coming out in 2019 that I am just hyped for after the trailer. And I know that there's supposed to be another trailer coming relatively soon, and I'm ecstatic. I cannot wait. Yeah, great. Another movie on the fun side of things is Spies and Disguise. This was another movie that was on my radar purely because of the cast. I had heard the announcement that Will Smith and Tom Holland were going to be in an animated movie together, and I was like, that's interesting. But I mean, other than that, until the trailer, I didn't know what the movie was about. I didn't really know anything about it. I didn't have too many expectations, anything like that. And then the trailer came out, and it just looks really funny. It just looks really funny and adorable. You know those movies where you just watch it because it just kind of like lightens your heart up a bit. That just looks like one of those movies that'll be like a guilty pleasure watch for me in the theater, and I'm really looking forward to it. On the same spectrum of animation, we have How to Train Your Dragon 3. So I freaking love the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Not as much as some people. I haven't read the books or anything like that. And I watched the first two movies. Last time I watched them was actually a little while ago, and the third movie was kind of impressing me, but not that much until until like the final trailer came out, and I was like, oh heaven, that looks so good. And so I'm super, super excited to see that one on the big screen, because I didn't see the other two on the big screen. I saw them at home, and I just think it'd be so beautiful and like vivid to just be surrounded by that imagery. I'm so excited. Yeah. And then the next, yeah, all the ones I'm going to say now are complete I'm not sure about. And I'm disappointed that some of them I'm not sure about, and others I knew I wasn't sure about from the second they announced them. So, okay. So the first one I'm not sure about is Chaos Walking. So for those of you who don't know, this is a book series by Patrick Ness, who's my favorite he's the author of my favorite book, which is A Monster Calls, and he's like, I like his books. Yeah, but he's the author of that, and I think he was the screenwriter too. I'm not entirely sure. It's directed by Doug Liman, and it stars Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland. And I love this book series so much, and I love, love, love Patrick Ness and his work. It really touches me. But this movie was pushed back like months for reshoots. It was supposed to come out, I'm pretty sure, in March, and we would have gotten a trailer by now. We were supposed to get one like a month ago, and recently it was confirmed that it's being pushed back because they're doing reshoots, I think this month and next month, which is super late to do reshoots, and super dangerous. And I'm very, very nervous because the book in itself is very complicated. Everyone can hear each other's thoughts. It's very like post-apocalyptic, otherworldly, and if it's done right, it can be so good. But I'm so scared it's going to be done wrong, especially with the reshoots. And in some cases, reshoots are a blessing. They really helped Rogue One, which is my favorite Star Wars movie, but they don't help other movies like Solo and stuff like that. So we're gonna see, but I'm super nervous for that. My fingers are crossed because I love everyone that's working on the film, and I love the books, and I want them to be represented well. It's a trilogy. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the rest of my I don't know about are all Disney films. That's rare, isn't it? Let's start with The Lion King. Originally this wasn't on my I'm not sure about list. This was on my I'm excited for this list because I really trust Jon Favreau, and how do you mess up The Lion King? But at the same time, how do you not mess up The Lion King? Like, recreating something that no one asked for, like, to be recreated. There's nothing wrong with the original, and so, ooh, it just makes me so nervous. It makes me so nervous, and I love Jon Favreau so much. He did such an amazing, fantastic job with the Jungle Book adaptation, which came back, or remake, which live-action Jungle Book, which came back in 2016. It had Scarlett Johansson, Bill Murray, Christopher Walker, all these amazing people, and Neil Setti, who still waiting on The Jungle Book 2, which has been confirmed, but they have not started making it because obviously The Lion King is a huge feat. But yeah, I'm just, how can you not be nervous for this movie? I mean, like, there's so many things that can go wrong and there's so many things that can go right. But I don't know, I'm just starting to get nervous for Disney because there's eventually something's going to happen. Like, I think the only way their empire can fall at this point is if they topple it themselves from within. And I don't know, they're always skating on thin ice. It makes me nervous. Speaking of skating on thin ice, the next 4 movies, where should I even start? Okay, we'll start with Collapsing from Within, wrecking their most bankable and most prominent, most popular franchise, which was Star Wars. It's now Marvel. Did they kill Star Wars? We will find out when episode 9 comes out. This is huge. So much is riding on this movie. Will people continue to boycott Star Wars? They haven't fired Kathleen Kennedy. They haven't made any giant changes to reassure the fans. We have Star Wars Celebration coming, I'm pretty sure this year, and I'm just so, I don't know what's gonna happen because I love Star Wars so... there we go. I love Star Wars so much. And I really don't want to see this franchise die. Like, I don't want to see that happen. And so, and they just created all these Star Wars lands, and it'd just be so heartbreaking to see it all come apart when they have so much good material. But at the same time, I have full faith in J.J. Abrams. I love him so much. He's been one of my favorite directors since Super 8 came out. And yeah, I believe in him. I just think that the unanswered questions he left and the disliked answers that Rian Johnson provided, it's just, there's a lot of mess that needs to be cleaned up, especially after Solo, which there's no way of knowing how that could have been if Lord and Chris Miller had stayed on, or if Ron Howard was even able to save it when he got there. Or, I mean, no one wanted the Solo film, so it's hard to say, but I just really want Star Wars to stay alive, and I'm really nervous. Yeah, speaking of things that might have to stay alive, is we're going to go into more franchises right now. Frozen 2 is coming out in 2019. It's scheduled to. Another movie to be wary of. There's a lot riding on this movie. Of course, as everyone knows, Frozen became like an empire. If you don't know, Elsa and Anna aren't actually Disney princesses because they make so much profit on their own that they haven't been inducted into the brand yet. That's crazy. It's just Frozen is its own category, and so the second movie, it needs to be good. Like, they can't topple their entire franchise off. I mean, I think because the age group that was targeted with Frozen when it came out, which was years ago now, they've grown up. Not a lot, but like enough. So they need to recruit more younger kids who have probably seen the movie. And it needs to be good enough to bring in older audiences as well, because there's a lot riding on Frozen, a lot, so we'll see. The next in another animated movie world is Toy Story 4. I'm so sorry, but like, why are they making another Toy Story? It ended so beautifully with Andy driving down this beautiful road, and he had given his toys to a new home. Like, it was just such a nice conclusion. We don't need more story. It had like Andy's a child, Andy's like still like it. The story was. It was complete. Why do we need to? This is like a thing where screenwriters and directors, editors, they don't know when to end the movie. There's always that little addendum at the end where it's like not necessary, like the medal ceremony in A New Hope, or just so many things like this perfect moment to end the movie. And then there's another scene, completely just not important at all. And it's just so, and and I feel like that's what Toy Story 4 is right now. And their teaser, and then their other teaser, they didn't reassure me at all, because they didn't, Disney, come on. I love your stuff so much, but you're making me so nervous. Okay. And finally, the last Disney movie and the last movie on this list is Aladdin. I'm very nervous for the live action Aladdin, purely because of the trailer that was released being very ordinary. I didn't think the digital effects were like amazing. I'm excited for some of the actors like Mina Masood and like, but there's just, it doesn't look original enough. It doesn't look fantastical enough. I don't know. It just doesn't, like when you see stills from Beauty and the Beast live action or Cinderella live action or The Jungle Book or any of these things, you see those trailers, you see those stills, and you're like, wow, this is pure magic. Like, I want to step into this world. And it looks beautiful, and it looks like the animated movie, just real. This, I don't know, it's such a hard line to, because you want to represent the Middle Eastern areas where this takes place properly. And I think they're doing that in some respects, but like the extras don't look good. Some of the costuming looks good, some of it, in my opinion, doesn't. And some of the actors, I think, like, at least from the stills they've released, don't look like they're portraying the characters in a way that's familiar to me. So, I don't know. Like, it has to be a good balance of grounded in reality and fresh and new and stuff, because it's live action. But it also has to have the balance of fantastical Disney. You want to be here. You want to meet these characters. You want to revisit this world 1,000 times and keep watching the movie over and over again. So, like when people watched the live action Cinderella, like I don't know one of my friends who didn't want to get in that dress and twirl around. Like that, it was stunning. And yeah, I don't know. There's just some, they just need to just take a step back and look everything over once again. But obviously with more trailers being released and all of that, some of my opinions on these things can change. Ultimately, there's a lot coming out this year, and I'm super overwhelmed but super excited, because I think that every time we get a year like this, it's just like I honestly feel overwhelmed. Like I can't even imagine. I wonder how many of these are going to be on my favorite movies of 2019 list a year from now. Like I'm so excited to find out. I hope that some of the ones I'm most anticipating are really good. I hope the ones I'm nervous about prove me wrong and they're amazing. Obviously, I always hope for movies to be good because I'm a huge movie fan and I root for the industry as a whole. Like I want us to do well. I really hope things go well and people make money and have fun at the movies and it's a good time. I hope it's good for everyone. And I hope that these movies are all good and enjoyable and people can have fun and get a good experience out of watching them. So yeah, that is my list for movies I'm anticipating in 2019. Please let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about my list, what your favorite movies are that are coming out this year. Are there any that you're not sure about? Or are there any that I said that you really don't want to see or really, really, really want to see more than I did? Are there any that I didn't list that you were really passionate about? Let me know. And yeah, we can have this amazing conversation down below, and I cannot wait to go through the process of watching all of these with you guys. So subscribe if you want to see that. My reviews and more trailer reactions and all of that throughout the year. It's going to be super, super, super exciting. And yeah, so give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and have a good day, everyone.